What's up? What's up? What's up, family? What's up, family? What's going on? What is going on? Some good music dropped today. Hopefully I'll be able to get to all of it. How are y'all? Y'all doing good? Good. Good. Good to hear. Good to hear. Okay. So, a Drake episode. Man, some of these episodes with artists that I'm big fans of feel like they've been building for like this episode is like 10 years in the making, I feel like. I mean, obviously I'm not going to cover everything in that regard, but I mean, you know, I've been listening to some artists like Drake for a solid 10 years. I mean, go through any of my tweets, go through my Facebook posts from when I was a child 10 years ago. And they're probably, a majority of them are probably Drake lines. Honestly. Yeah, so a couple Drake songs dropped today, which that's cool. 2 new ones with DJ Khaled. And him and Khaled have been working together for probably the same amount of time. I mean, since Drake kind of burst onto the scene. I mean, he's had a song on like 8 or 10 Khaled albums, I think. Maybe a little less than that, but he's always got one on there. So, Popstar. The track's hard. The track is super hard. I heard Khaled say that it was like he has like a pop tune coming out with Drake, and I mean, there are some songs that Drake has put out over the past couple years, and I just you know, the lane that he chose will shoot straight to the top, but it just you know, there are so many examples of Drake songs that resonate and just hit home so hard that when he chooses a lane outside of it, it's a little tough. We'll get into some of that later. But Popstar, I mean, just bar heavy, you know, 2 verses and a hook that just go hard. And yeah, I mean, I would expect when things start opening back up, that's going to be played a lot in the public. Grease. So this one leaked, or it didn't even leak. Drake played it on his Instagram Live, like more than one time, like more than one Instagram Live session that he had. And I am almost fully confident that the version that is on Apple Music with DJ Khaled is a riff of the video from Instagram Live. I mean, I listened to the leak multiple times, and it really does not sound the same. Or I listened to the rip from the Instagram Live video from like SoundCloud and like random YouTube videos and stuff multiple times, and it sounds almost identical. And not only that, but in one of the Instagram videos, right before the 3rd verse, like Drake is sitting there and he literally looks over at like the guy who's, you know, playing the music, and he goes, "I just had to go in on that." Like, that's from the Instagram Live video, and that part is literally in the song that's on Apple Music. So I don't know, like, exactly. And I mean, you know, a lot of people just like on Twitter or whatever are definitely saying like, you know, it doesn't sound fully done, which is strange. But I mean, it's listenable. You know, I mean, I'm still playing it, but it is strange that like that one dialogue is in there, and I'm like 90% sure that I saw him in a video like when that 3rd verse was about to start. He literally like looks over and was like, "I just had to go in on that," and that dialogue is in the song. So I'm not quite sure exactly like what happened right there, but I mean, Still a little bop. Still a bop. Okay, let's go over this Dark Lane demo tapes. So yeah, speaking of leaks and, you know, video songs surfacing online and whatnot, I heard about either 11 or 12 of these songs before this whole tape came out due to leaks and previews and stuff. So I'm guessing that he, you know, this was one of the longest that we have gone without a Drake full project between Scorpion and now. And I'm guessing that this was just a perfect excuse to throw a little project together, you know, to just gear something up and like just get the wheels turning before the album comes out this summer, when he said the album's going to come out. And yeah, I mean, a lot of these songs I heard, he said on Young Money Radio with Lil Wayne, he was like, I just couldn't believe how many leaks there were. Now, I've also heard somebody that apparently has ties with OVO say, like, OVO was the one leaking those songs. Maybe it's just one big formulated project or plan to just circle back around and just, you know, help out the own team, which, you know, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if that was how everything was going down, but I have no proof of anything. I'm just speculating. So track 1, Deep Pockets. First time I heard this was off a Instagram live session, and I couldn't really hear the production of it, but the lyrics were fire, and I was loving what I was hearing. Just big, braggadocious, again, just chorus coming in, and we rolling, and we roll. I mean, I was like, why was this never released? I mean, it was, you know, just one of those braggadocious, just big time Drake songs. And then the CDQ came out as the intro on this, and the beat was very drowned out, and the lyrics were just so much more in front of the beat. I mean, I definitely expected like a just larger production piece behind these lyrics, but that's not what we got. So, you know, I thought we were going in one direction with that song, ended up in another. You know, it's, you know, decent way to kick off I mean, literally it's called demo tapes. Like, this is a demo tape, just, you know, leading up to the next, to his next project. So decent song. When to Say When. So he, you know, released this, you know, a couple months before, or a month before the tape dropped, with the third track on this tape as well. So he has the same sample in this song as Jay-Z has on his song, Song Cry by The Blueprint. And this is well known as just like an absolute unanimous classic rap song. Song Cry is by Jay-Z. A timeless sample that, if you know that song, the moment that sample starts playing, like, you know where that's from. There is nothing that sample and vocal performance from whoever the sample is. I'm not sure who it is, unfortunately. Definitely going to look that up after this. As soon as you hear that, you know, you hear Song Cry. So when this came on, I was like, is he covering the Song Cry beat? Like, you cannot just do that. Like, if you're just like any rapper, you cannot just do that. He does it on here. I mean, if anybody, Drake's going to do it and see what he has, see what he's got. I mean, no hook, bars all the way through. Almost the same rhyme scheme all the way through. And, you know, it's not the same beat as Song Cry. The vocal from the sample is a little pitched up, and I think the drum patterns are a little different. but it is a solid track, very solid track. Like, I mean, the rhyme scheme is kind of crazy. I mean, it's almost the same rhyme scheme all the way through for about 3 straight minutes. And I mean, he has these, bar only songs throughout his catalog. This one did not hit me as much as something like Do Not Disturb, 30 for 30 Freestyle, Two Birds, One Stone, 4 p.m. in Calabasas. It didn't hit me on that level, but I mean, it's still a solid track. Track 3, Chicago Freestyle with Giveon, who I think did a fantastic job. I mean, it made me go look up some of his some of his music. He, has a very interesting voice. I mean, the tune of his voice when he's singing sounds very good, but his voice is like very kind of deep. It's like a deep sounding voice, but he's able to make it sound very smooth and nice, like as he's singing. And I just can't think of too many people. I mean, it reminds me of Sampha's voice a little bit, which I think is who and I'm sure other people thought who it was at first, which is not. And I'm sure he's going to be able to, distinct himself from that comparison throughout his career. But yeah, I mean, I went and checked out his music. I'm going to keep checking out his music. I like what I heard from him. And also the chorus was just, the lyrics of the chorus, just a solid chorus. I mean, 2:30, baby, won't you meet me by the bean? Leading into Windy City, she's blowing me kisses. Just a solid metaphor. Just a solid, hip-hop-esque metaphor. And Drake's part is really just describing his love life on tour, or his, female situation while he's, in a tour setting. And really, I mean, when I was first hearing it, I was like, dude, you're getting brave out here, man. Like, you're giving away some game. Like, he's almost giving away step by step exactly how it goes with women while he's on tour. I mean, it's really just, a bullet point list of exactly how it goes with women on tour. I mean, text one, says she has a man, and text another one, goes green, might have switched up, this and that. I mean, I'm just like, dude, you are giving away some game, bro, some game. I mean, I'm sure it will not affect him in the slightest when it comes to this topic, but I was just like, damn, dude, you are really just giving a step-by-step catalog on how it goes with women while you're on tour, or, living a hotel life. And then the end of his verses, or the pre-chorus, is an interpolation from Superman by Eminem. Came out in 2002, I believe. He flips it, though. Eminem is talking about a female in that song, and then Drake flips it on him, talking about him at the end of his verses, saying, I do this whole tour life. I have connections with these women in these cities, but at the end of this day, gonna be by myself, drinking on this runway, about to take off to another city. Kind of sad, honestly, but that's the life. That's his life that he's living right now. Track 4, Not You Too, featuring Chris Brown. On his Rap Radar interview with Elliot Wilson and B-Dot, I believe is the other gentleman's name, he mentions that he has a collaboration with Chris Brown that might end up on his album. It might not. They're not sure. He's not sure which songs are going to end up on his album. And just talking about his relationship with Chris Brown, and how finally, after years and years, I mean, we've all kind of subconsciously known that if Chris Brown and Drake make music together, it's going to sound fantastic. No Guidance, first song off rip, absolute smash hit. We come here, I see the track list, another Chris Brown and Drake song on a demo tape. Are you kidding me? Like, we get another one. Very, very pumped for this. I hear the song. I'm waiting. I mean, one of the best thing, I mean, really the concept of a feature is to be able to bring someone else's talents into the setting that you create and then have them add another element within the structure that you built. So I'm waiting to see, I'm hearing Drake's part and I'm like, okay, this is, decent. Let me see what Chris Brown brings to the table in here, which was the same way as No Guidance. Like, Drake kicks it off and he sounds very, very good just in that whole element, very summery, loose, pocketed vibe. And then Chris Brown comes in hard and you're just like, oh, there's a contrast there, but it's on the same beat and it sounds great. And then Drake goes back in at the end with some awesome lyrics to end the song. This, I'm waiting to see the same kind of, like, maybe not the same kind of impact that Chris Brown would have, but, just kind of, let's see what he brings to this setting, and then just nothing happens. And I was like, damn, okay. It said featuring Chris Brown, but it didn't really feature Chris Brown. It featured Chris Brown background vocals, but not a Chris Brown element to the song. I'm hoping that this is not the song Drake was talking about in regards to, like, I did a song with Chris Brown and then did another for his album, and then we did another one for my album. I'm hoping that this is not like what he was talking about, because it was almost like a comparative way. Like, we did that one for his album, we did another one for this album. These are not the same kind of things. Like, the No Guidance and Not You Too are just not the same kind of thing. But the second half of Drake's first verse, when he starts saying, "'Cause I'm wavy and I'm saying things, da 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 da," going on and on, I like that part a lot. And I tweeted this kind of after listening to the song a few times. Like, he has the same role on this song as Ty Dolla $ign has on Jaded. Like, almost the exact same role. So if you're going to say featuring Chris Brown, say featuring the background god himself, Ty Dolla $ign. But it's a good song to put on with your girl. Track 5, Tootsie Slide, went number one song for Drake. This is one of multiple songs on this tape that were produced by OZ, a producer. I don't know much about him except his name. And also the 2 DJ Khaled songs are produced by OZ. So and really all the songs that were produced by OZ are great, very good tracks. So I am expecting a solid bit of OZ production on his upcoming album. We'll see. I could be completely wrong. There could be not one credit from OZ on his album. But I am expecting some OZ production on his upcoming album. OZ did Sicko Mode. He did Highest in the Room. He's done a couple other tracks that, he's coming into his own as a producer right now in this moment, is becoming what he has worked towards, I'm guessing. And I think that he's going to play a decent part in Drake's next album, because he's got some smash hits. He's got about 4 songs on here. I didn't write down every production credit that he had, but I'm expecting something, a solid chunk of music between Drake and OZ on the next album. Tootsie Slide, you see TikTok. TikTok is very interesting in the way that it will just grab something. It'll just grab such a random song and then flip it into a challenge, and then the song will start charting again. And this is a perfect example of modern day technology playing a part in situations that have been there forever, like Billboard charts, but you could never do something along those lines before. So the nonstop, I just flipped the switch, flip, like that thing turned into a whole TikTok challenge. Nonstop by Drake shot back up the charts strictly because of the TikTok challenge from it. Not non-coincidentally, about 6 months later, Drake makes a song that is just very, very fine-tuned for TikTok. Went number one. I mean, I'm sure he looks at this song as a giant success, one of his number one solo records. I mean, the chorus, like I said, made for TikTok. I actually really like the verses. I mean, I think, nice flow, cool lyrics on the verses. I like the verses. Just the chorus was just not made for me. Just wasn't made for me to like. Track 6, Desires, featuring Future. I'm guessing this is a Drake Future throwaway track. The song leaked, and then about, I heard the song when it leaked. Unfortunately, I have internal battles with leaks. Sometimes I don't know whether to listen or not, but it's so accessible nowadays. We'll talk about leaks in depth, maybe another time, maybe. But yeah, I'm thinking just kind of a throwaway Drake Future track. I mean, they have just a big catalog together. This one definitely does not shoot up high within that catalog. It leaked a couple of days later. They released it on SoundCloud. Follow that up with putting it on Dark Lane demo tapes. Houston themed. I mean, I should have put you somewhere where no one could find you. Katy, Texas, Dallas, Texas. Drake has a deep history with the city of Houston. A lot of music settings take place in Houston of his. He talks a lot about his relationship with women from Houston. So obviously he has some kind of connection emotionally there as well from, a female perspective or from a female relationship kind of lane. And I'm thinking just a great way to pull off a chorus, just talking about, wishing that he could not have this woman be so distracted in the city of Houston. Just put her in another city, like just have her somewhere else but Houston, because I've never been to Houston, but I can guess that the nightclub scene is probably awesome. Future adds a nice element to it. Not going to remember that track, for the long haul, but just a solid one to throw on. Track 7, Time Flies. I think this is OZ as well. I think it is. Let's see. So this song, this song is the best one so far to me. And when Drake finds this lane of, rapping melodically, which he is one of the founding fathers of. I don't say he is the founding father, but he is one of the founding fathers of the whole just melodically rapping style that is just so big within hip hop today. He's in this lane in this song, and then to add a whole catchy chorus to it, and then I'm outside in the AMG, right outside, TT. Two turn baby. It's such a simple lyric, the TT leading into two turn, but dude, it's fun. It's fun to say. It's fun to say. Fun to party with. It's it's a very solid, it's a staple. The style of this song is a staple in what makes Drake as good and big as he is just how this song is performed throughout. And let's see, is OZ on this one? I believe he is. He is the one who produced this. He is. So I like the instrumental, another Drake and OZ track. I think if he's able to tie him into his upcoming album correctly, could have some more really, really, really good music. And hopefully, hopefully this is the worst one. There's a reason he put this one on the tape. If him and OZ are, that's what I like. Is I like a lot of these songs, and these are tracks that he did not want to put on. Who I'm guessing he felt were not good enough to put on his upcoming album. So that is good news. Also, the lyric where he starts off, I think his last verse, "Heart still on javelin." For some reason, that's just so dope to say. He's so good at just. I don't know if he does it on purpose, but the amount of lyrics I hear, and I'm like, that'd be a dope Instagram caption. Over and over and over and over again. Just he's able to capture these moments within one line. Within one line. He's able to capture these big, big emotions into one bar. And they're so broad that a majority of the people listening can find a moment or find a situation in their life to relate it to. So he says some of these, I'm not talking this lyric exactly, but just in his whole catalog, there are so many times that he has said something that I could just like pull something out of my life where I'm like, yeah, that line describes what I'm going through in this portion of my life. And I'm like sometimes I'm like, maybe I can't even tell if it's a reach from me or not, but it's just, he's so good at describing these moments very, very quickly. And that is something that has made him so big. Like his lyrics are unlike anybody else's, just in that sense. He says some things and I'm like, nobody else says stuff like that. And I'm not even necessarily saying that it's better than everyone else. Well, I'm definitely not saying that. It's good. I like a lot of his writing, or a lot of his lyrics, but he's just able to capture such a big moment in small words. And a ton of people can relate to what he's saying in totally different facets of their respective lives, which is why he is arguably the biggest artist in the world. Because he can just relate. He can just make snapshot lyrics that a majority of people that listen to his songs can relate to that snapshot moment, and they can pull it from different parts of their respective lives. Like, I could be just in a totally different situation relating a lyric that he said than somebody in a totally different situation living from me on the other side of the world can take that lyric and apply it to their life as well. So bravo. That is why he is transcendent. That is why he is arguably the biggest artist in the world. Track 8 landed. Just Drake getting some bars off, just rapping. Another one that he previewed on IG Live. I can see why he put this on here. It leaked. Definitely not something that belongs on his album. Just not much to this song, really. Wrote this with a Cartier pen. Do I sound different? Kind of a cool line. But besides that, really not much to it, but just Drake getting some bars off. D4L with Future and Young Thug. I read an article from some news source. I do not know. I cannot tell you who. I cannot remember. But they were explaining that. They were like, don't let Drake fool you. He did put some time into this album. Like, you don't just pop up with a Future and Thug song without having that in the stash and really working on it. And I'm reading that that's the exact opposite. If you're listening to the song, this absolutely was a Future and Young Thug song that Drake was able to get his hands on and throw a verse onto. He definitely didn't have both of them in the studio and then try to create this Young Thug Drake Future song. Young Thug and Future have a theme, go back and forth. Future goes FBG, YSL. And then Young Thug says the same. So FBG is Future's brand. YSL is Young Thug's brand. Now, not to get confused with Yves Saint Laurent, I mean, Young Thug takes the same acronym and flips it to Young Stoner Life. And that is his label. That is who Gunna is signed to. That is who Lil Keed is signed to. That is, YSL Record, I think it's Records, is who Young Thug has. So, and then it's produced by Southside, an Atlanta producer. This is an Atlanta song Drake was able to get his hands on and then put his own little twist onto it, made it his, put it on the tape. Obviously, I'm speculating, disclaimer, but I would be very, very surprised if that's not what happened. D4L, Atlanta rap group, early 2000s. So, I mean, just Future and Young Thug are back. Another reason why I think that. Back and forth, just talking about their rap group, comparing it to D4L. Yeah, I mean, Young Thug and Future do what they have to do, and then Drake comes in with, I think, as a solid verse. Very, just punching in at the right pockets the entire way through, and then that he's got a line in there. We just started fucking she impatient. Now she want a butt lift. Now she wants some LASIK just to see the bag clear. That way she can chase it. It's just cool. It's a cool thing to say. I like it. Yeah. And then Future has to end the song with just left and right. And I'm like, are we counting money? What is going on? Sensory overload. And then Young Thug just throws in, I eat calamari. Okay. All right. Get it off your chest. Funny stuff. That made me laugh. It still makes me laugh every time I hear Young Thug say, I eat calamari. Fuck yeah. Track 10, Pain, 1993. So the title are featuring Playboi Carti. I think this was originally supposed to be a Playboi Carti featuring Drake song, because when Drake previewed one of these songs in the Instagram Live, he was like, tell Carti to drop this. And Carti has a very anticipated album from his fan group called Whole Lotta Red that should be dropping at some point. Who knows when? I mean, it's been anticipated for about 8 months now, maybe even longer, and it still hasn't dropped. Who knows? A lot of Carti's music has not just, meshed with me that much yet. I'm definitely, I will definitely go back and listen to some. I'm definitely going to listen to anything he releases from this point on. Some stuff I've heard, definitely like. Haven't been the biggest fan so far, but I'm definitely following what he's doing in his career, no doubt. Pain, 1993. The title is born out of a gentleman named Ian Connor, who is kind of in the whole pop culture industry, mostly in fashion. Who he has relationships with Drake and Playboi Carti. A better one with Playboi Carti. I know he has ties to Kanye West and A$AP Rocky as well. And I think his slogan is born into pain 1993. Obviously, like born in 1993 and was born into maybe not the best situation is what I would guess from that slogan. I didn't look too much into the background of it, but that was his slogan. And I think, I think they just kind of pulled part of that out of there. Maybe he was involved with the song. I'm not totally sure, but that is where the title comes from. The song was produced by Pierre Bjorn, who is making some waves and rapping as well. I mean, I thought when I first started hearing Pierre produce, I can't remember the first couple songs I heard him produce, but I was very impressed with his production. It's kind of like a hot, everything around his bass and drum kits are just kind of like high energy, a little bit high, higher toned than some other producers, and just he doesn't really drop too low as of yet within his production. And I just thought it was so crisp, and I really enjoyed his production. And anytime I hear that Pierre has produced a song, I'm tuning in. Like I think that he adds such a bright element to a track that I am very excited every time Pierre is the producer of a track or has production credits on a track. I think Drake sounds awesome on this track. I think he is takes a little bit of the Cardi route, just to chop in and then back out for a sec, and then chop back in, back out. I think that Cardi has a few songs that are like that, and then I think that he just starts going in, and I think that he sounds fantastic leading up. I think the chorus is good. I really, really like his part on this song. And then, I mean, he's got a couple lyrics on here. Police in my city, man, I keep them pockets greased up. Shawty came from Mexico, she know I got that sweet, or she knows she got that sweet stuff. And just, the way that he performs these lyrics, I really enjoy. And then, infamously, at this point, we're a couple months out from this project, infamously, Cardi comes in and introduces his baby voice, which is a strange one. It's strange. And oddly enough, his flow is fucking fire. Like if he sings a song, or if anybody sings his verse in a different tone, I think it's a fire verse. But he chose this route, which is like, is literally like a child. Like he purposely tried to sound like a child, I think. And it was, just a bold move on his part. Yeah, the song's cool. I like everything about it. The baby voice is an interesting aspect to a song. Very interesting. We go into track 11, Losses. So this, off first listen, off fifth listen, off 10th listen, let's say off 20th listen. I don't know how many times I've listened to this mixtape. This is the best song on here from a Drake project. It just is. It is a classic Drake flow on a mellow beat. Just the flow it's nothing too complex, but a lot of people don't pull off this slowly evolving flow that he has on here, that he's done on multiple songs. I think he should have saved this for the album. It's really about, losing relationships within the music industry, whether it's female or, friends. And, it starts off with his dad on, a conversation between him and his dad on Instagram Live. And it's funny what he said on Wayne's Apple Music show, Young Money Radio. He was like, my dad makes these songs and then just keeps them for himself. Like he's at the crib always recording, always just making music, and never releases them. He's like, this is just for me. This is for the family. And Drake was like, yo, this, like you make music to release it. And obviously we know Drake feels that way based on how much music he releases. Yeah, it's just one of those classic, you put some headphones on, really by yourself, listen to it, take in, feel the emotion of the song. A couple bars in there that are just fire. I do it for the grams. His last name is Graham, talking about his family, not the gram, not Instagram, which a lot of people do a lot for Instagram nowadays. Another fire bar. Even when being real is out of fashion, these guys keep stealing my style. Now we're out here matching. Heard that. Loved it. Loved it. Yeah, I mean, I would say it's the just comparative to everything else that is great leading up to this. You know, this song is just one of those moments that nobody else is making that kind of song. You know, like you look at Pain 1993. I love listening to that song, but you know, Cardi can get in the studio with other artists and just producers and make that song. Now, maybe it might not be as good as if Drake hopped on it, but Cardi can make that song. Drake cannot. Like nobody can jump in the studio and make a song like Losses except Drake. It's just a classic, solid foundation of his career. Is the type of song Losses is. Track 12, From Florida with Love. I live in Florida. I was born in Florida. I grew up in Florida. I've never not lived in Florida. I was firmly prepared for this song to be one of my favorite songs I've ever heard in my entire life. Did not happen, but I love the title. I love it. I see myself intertwining this album title into my life somehow at some point, because I come to all of you from Florida with love. Hey, I just did it. I gotta get these shitty jokes off. Yeah, recorded this in Miami, From Florida with Love, during Scorpion recording sessions. And actually, this song gets a little deeper than what you would think just off first or second or third, fifth listen. Two situations that he references in this song. One of them is early in his career before Thank Me Later released, in between So Far Gone and Thank Me Later. He apparently, the story goes that he got set up by a female that he went on a date with to get robbed at gunpoint with some guys. And if you listen to his song The Resistance off of Thank Me Later, he goes into a lot more depth about that situation. And he references that moment on this song. And then the other moment that he references on the song is apparently the first time that he heard Lollipop was when Wayne brought he was on tour with Wayne, I believe, on some tour back in the day, where Wayne had one of the craziest tours ever. I think it was called the I Am Music Tour. It was Wayne, Drake at the time, I think I'm getting this correct, 2 Chainz, who was known as Titty Boy at the time, and Nicki Minaj. I think Tyga was on there. I mean, it just had some artists that eventually became giant, all performing. And damn, sorry about that. Keep hitting the mic. And so Wayne is notorious for having just the craziest tour bus situations. He has to have a recording studio on the tour bus to be able to record whenever he wants to. I'm not going to keep going on that, but he is always recording, brings in, on tour, not on tour, whenever, Drake's on the studio bus listening to some Carter 3 songs. Kobe Bryant comes on the bus, and Wayne plays him Lollipop for the first time. And it's Wayne, Drake, Kobe Bryant, probably some other people, but those are the 3 big figures listening to Lollipop for the first time. And in this song, he references that moment. And, that's obviously both of these moments are pretty deep. But you would think, just based off of the chorus of the song, which is just pretty bravado as well, just, I mean, I love rapping it, when just in the car or whenever. But the moments that he touches on in this song are a little deeper than kind of the whole vibe that the song puts out. Track 13, Demons. Classic situation of Drake dipping into a genre that he is able to just lace, and it's going to sound like Drake. So therefore, it's going to sound great. It's got 5EO Foreign and Sosa Geek on here. 2 New York drill artists that are up and coming. 5EO Foreign, I've heard a couple solo songs from him, doing his thing. Pop Smoke was spearheading the entire New York drill moment coming out of here, which it's interesting that that the up and comers of New York right now are taking on a whole drill aspect. I mean, you have the drill scene in Chicago, and Chief Keef. I'm sorry, I can't think of other names off the top of my head right now. Chief Keef, that whole Chicago drill scene, and London, which has a whole drill scene of its own, and now New York is having their own blend of drill that is becoming, popular. I mean, like I said, Pop Smoke was becoming huge at 20 years old. Drake dips into this lane and then also lets 5EO Foreign and Sosa Geek get a verse each. And it's funny because we've seen Drake definitely rap like he is straight out of London. You good? And he's rapping like with 2 New York drill artists, but his flow is so English. I mean, it's straight London flow. And the 2 guys, 5EO Foreign and Sosa Geek, just do what they do. They do what they've been doing on these on their tracks. Speaking of drill, the next song is War. This song was previously released as a single from a radio show from Drake's team, somebody from Drake's team. It's produced by Axel, who is an English producer, London-based producer. So Axel is out in London finding his way in the New York drill scene as well, as a producer, just definitely getting big artists to hop on songs. And I think he has a song or 2 with Pop Smoke. And then I think he's got he's doing a ton over in London right now. Full on London drill from Drake. Full on. Full on. Like, I mean, if somebody knew accents and did not know music, you would listen to the song and be like, yeah, this guy's from London. Absolutely. Just, that style all the way through. And one aspect of the song that I want to focus on is, he says, and I don't like getting into rumors or, just gossip or anything like that, but I mean, it's in the music, therefore I'm going to cover it. He says, and the boy that sounds like he been on Thriller, that's been my N-word. Yeah, we just had to fix things. Family 6 things. We can't split up. What he's talking about is The Weeknd, Abel, Tesfaye. He's saying, The Weeknd's been my boy. There was a couple mishaps here and there. We just had to fix them. Both from Toronto. We got to stay together in this whole industry. Now, I would believe that if The Weeknd reciprocated that same emotion. But over the last 3 years, when things seem like they should be getting made up between the two, it just hasn't been reciprocated from Abel's side. I mean, in 2017 off Lose You, Drake's song, and on More Life, he was like 42 consecutive weekends, shout out to Weeknd. And he's like, if OVO isn't on the charts, then the XO boys are eating, as in The Weeknd. And then early 2019, I believe, yeah, after the whole Drake Pusha T beef, which revolved around quote unquote Pusha T revealing Drake has a kid. Like that's kind of like the snapshot, headline moment that happened. Abel says on a song with Gestefelstein, I don't know how to say his name. It's a fire song though. He says, I just want a baby with the right one. I could never be the one to hide one. Now, whether he is like really throwing shots or not, he is obviously conscious of what could come of him saying something like that. So Abel says that 2019, Drake releases War, before After Hours for sure, and shouts out The Weeknd and the line that I previously said. So then we lead into After Hours, and on the song Faith, The Weeknd says, I take half a Xan and I still stay awake. I mean, it's pretty unfair for him to not think that I would think that is a clear response to, I take half a Xan, 13 hours till I land, have me out like a light. I mean, I take half a Xan and I still stay awake. I mean, are we throwing shots? Like, I don't know. And, I don't give a fuck about anything except the music. Like, I am just, I'm not sitting here like, are they beefing this and that? I just want them to make music together. That's all I care about. Like, please. Crew Love is amazing. Is it not? Can we just get some Drake and Weeknd music together? It's been like 65 years since we've got a song from them. And they are born and bred in the same lane. Like, obviously, different voices. But can we just get some music? I mean, settle what it is. Please. From a fan perspective, I am asking you to. Goodness gracious. Data just came out that Drake is the most streamed artist in the world. The Weeknd is the second most streamed artist in the world. Let's do something about that. You're both from the same city. My goodness. I love you both. Don't get it twisted. I do. I just want some OVO XO. That's all I want. Yeah. War. Good song, I guess. That lyric got me thinking about a lot. So, Dark Lane demo tapes ends. Where does Drake go from here? I could do a whole separate episode on this, but I don't think I'm going to. Where he went from there is to Popstar in Greece. The man loves releasing music. I don't think I've ever seen an artist of his stature that released music at the rate that he does. You could argue that it waters it down a little bit, but we all know that when it comes time for album mode and his albums, that is what's important, and that is what everyone is paying attention to. His album catalog is so interesting to me because when I look at his either peers, competitors, anyone else, Drake loves to compare rap. Like in his interviews, he loves to compare rap to a sport. He always says, and this sport that we're playing, this and that, this and that. So has he built a catalog and done fantastic leading up to this point? Absolutely. Does he have the best album out of the people that he is compared to? I don't know. I personally might have to say no. I will say no. And I am a giant Drake fan. Would You Like It tour, Drake vs. Lil Wayne, Club Paradise tour, Summer 16 tour. Was that all of them? Unreal. Unreal. Excuse us. Back to our regularly scheduled program. Yeah, was that all the tours? I anticipate every Drake song, album, project that comes out. Every single one. Giant fan. And so I'll look at him as a sports team that I am a fan of. Where do we go from here? I think that he is... So if we were comparing him in basketball, I would say that he is a 10-time All-Star, 3-4-time MVP, 1 or 2-time champion. That's the way I look at it. I think that he explained it in back-to-back very well. They're just mad because I got the Midas touch. He has the Midas touch. He was blessed with a voice that sounds amazing on anything that he touches. Any genre that he dips in, he sounds nothing short of great. Just the way that he can make music. He sounds great. Now, should he continue to find different lanes to be successful? I personally don't think so. And that is coming from somebody who is just invested emotionally in his career. I want him to go down as one of the greatest hip-hop figures of all time. He is in that talk to be able to do that. And he probably already is. He's going to do that. But from a perspective of there are the people who keep talking about it for, the next 20 years. Those are the ones that know. Those are the ones that are going to truly decide. The ones that are strictly just run to numbers, they're not the ones that look at it from a longevity standpoint and from a legacy standpoint. Now, how much does legacy mean to Drake or to anybody? Because all legacy is what you leave behind for other people to perceive what you did. Is that insecurities? Because all it is caring about what other people think. That's another conversation. But I think that Drake is right on the tip of being able to go down as one of the greatest hip-hop figures. I think that he has been able to take lanes to the top that do not fall into the category of making him push for that title of one of the greatest hip-hop figures. I mean, like if you're just being comparative and stuff, I mean, he's got songs that just don't fit. They don't stand the test of time for me, like giant songs. Like I think a song like One Dance, I don't want to just blatantly single out this song like I have something against it. I don't, in the sense of it being exactly what he was going for. I think in the moment, that's a great song. I mean, it was the number one song in the world at the time. It, is a great bop to throw on in the club. But when you look at it from a time-withstanding catalog perspective, are we going to go back and look at a song like that as a staple in his career that made him one of the best hip-hop figures ever? I would personally say no. I'm not saying he should not have done that. I think that it's a good it's a good move by him to put a song like that in his catalog. I think from now on, I think he's 33 years old. He's got 5 albums under his belt. He's dipped in to, full-on pop with like a song like Hold On, We're Going Home, or what's the other one? Don't Matter to Me. You know, with the song that he was able to get Michael Jackson vocals for. I think he's taken a dive into the whole London scene and put a whole London accent torque onto his songs. A lot of that was off More Life. I think that he dived deep into, you know, trap scene. I mean, he went to Atlanta and did a whole mixtape with Future and Metro Boomin. And I mean, I love the tape. One of my favorite collab tapes. I think now is time for him in his career to put the blinders on, because nothing he does in his career and no other song that he makes is better than classic Drake emotionally fueled songs. Nothing that he does is better than those. I mean, just a song that brought him to another level. Marvin's Room, obviously a very emotional record. That song, nobody else is making that song. The Ride, the outro to Take Care, so good. Too Much. I'm just gonna rattle off some. Furthest Thing, From Time, Tuscan Leather, one of my favorite, maybe my favorite intro ever. Do Not Disturb, 30 for 30, You With Me off Views is so good. Feel No Ways, Two Birds, One Stone, Emotionless, Is There More, Jaded. That song is amazing. All these songs, every time I listen to them, they resonate more and more. And every time I hear a song from him where he dips into another lane, it resonates less and less than it did the first time, because it's not coming from a pure, grounded standpoint that he knows better than anyone. He's going and joining other genres instead of like bringing those genres to him. And when he has done that to where it sounds fantastic, to where he is able to bring that genre to him instead of going to that genre. Like, for example, like Nice for What? That song has a whole New Orleans bounce music theme to it, but he was able to tie in his way of making music as the forefront of that song and then add New Orleans style music to it. Another one is Too Good with Rihanna. I think that sounds such like a Drake song, but definitely has a whole dance hall aspect to it. Unlike One Dance, I think, is a dance hall song that has a Drake aspect to it. And I don't mean to focus in on One Dance, but it's the one that I feel anybody that listens to this can kind of understand the point that I'm trying to make. Blim, I think is such a great song. I love that track, and that is one that I feel is a, London inspired song that he was able to bring to his world and make. I think that he is able to do that, and when he's able to do that, I love when he does that. I think that when he goes and tries to, like, you have the genre and the life of a song, and then he's able to just put Drake on top of it. I think that those songs will not withstand the test of time and will not be able to look back and point those songs out as something that is what made him great. I think that we are able to pull back the mask of songs like that. And I am just pulling for him so hard that this upcoming album, I fully expect to be his best album, no doubt about it. It's the first album since Nothing Was the Same, I believe, that he has no distractions before it. Before Views, he beefed with Meek Mill. Before Scorpion, he beefed with Pusha T. Both of those, obviously, distractions leading into an album release. I think this album should be, could be, will be his best album, undoubtedly. If it's not, we'll go from there. But I think that he has a chance to go down as one of the greatest hip-hop figures. And if he is able to go in the right direction from here on out, because he's dabbled in everything he needs to, But here on out, it's about championships. You got all the MVPs. You got all the all-star nods. Let's win championships. There we have it. I know Drake's catalog very well, and I am very excited about this next album. Demo tapes is fun. These 2 songs from Khaled are fun. Let's see. I'm excited, and expectations are high. I will talk to y'all soon. If y'all need to talk about anything, give me a call. We'll chat. I hope everyone's doing well. I hope to talk with y'all about this. If you got anything to say to me about it from a critical standpoint, I would love to hear it. I want to make this thing as best as possible. Even from a production standpoint, definitely reach out. I would love to hear how we can make this thing as best as we can. Love y'all. I'm out.